Swagatam. Welcome to the 13th session of Simply Sanatana. Let us learn Bhishma Stuti as given out in the Bhagavata Purana. Now, the background as to how Bhishma Stuti happened. Yudhishthira, though having won the battle of the great war of the Mahabharata, was experiencing a void that is a peaceless mind. He was grieving over the impact of the mass killings, such as the implications of children becoming orphans and many women becoming widows. He therefore held back Krishna, who was about to proceed for Dwarka. Being concerned about the bitterness of the subjects, on this score, Yudhishthira proceeded to the battlefield Kurukshetra to seek Bhishma's guidance. Bhishma, who was lying in the battlefield on the bed of arrows. All his brothers too accompanied him. Several Brahmanas and prominent sages also came to offer their respects to Bhishma. Bhishma received all of them respectfully with his mind and speech as he was lying disabled. He then advised Yudhishthira and spoke to the other Pandavas. Bhishma consoled them that whatever unpleasant has happened is brought about by time, that is fate, under whose influence the whole world moves about, just as a row of clouds under the control of the wind. Bhishma also highlighted that Krishna, who was present there, is a veritable Narayana, the primeval man who deludes the world with his Maya potency. Bhishma was overcome with emotions when he said to Yudhishthira, "Look at his compassion on his staunch devotees, that Krishna himself has appeared before me when I am giving up life." Bhishma added, while concentrating the mind upon Krishna with devotion and repeating his name by words, a yogi who quits his body becomes liberated from desires and action. Hence, let him wait till I cast off this material body. Meanwhile, Yudhishthira sought Bhishma's guidance on various matters and duties on charities, kingship, laws pertaining to the path of liberation, etc. While Bhishma was advising thus, the time for him to depart this world was drawing near. Bhishma had the boon Ichamrityu, that is, selecting the most appropriate time for casting off his mortal body. Bhishma concluded his speech with his eyes unclosed, he completely free from attachment, fully concentrated on the primeval man, the four-armed Krishna with shining yellow garments standing before him. Bhishma, who was about to quit his body, free from any delusion, sinless, with purest concentration of mind, and whose pangs of wounds caused by weapons had been instantly removed by Krishna's encompassing favorable glance, praised Krishna as follows. Iti matirupakalpita vitrishna bhagavati sattva pungave vibhumni swasukhamupagate kvachid vihartum prakritimupehyushi yadbhava pravaha. Thus, my mind, matihi, free from the thirst of all sense desires, vitrishna, is fixed upakalpita in the venerable Lord Krishna, Bhagavati. He is the most eminent in the Satvata clan, Satvata Pungavaha, who is in abundance, Vibhumni, and is overflowing with bliss, that is his inherent nature, swasukhamupagate, and who sometimes with a desire to play associated himself with prakriti or maya, that is illusion, kvachit vihartum prakritim upeyushi, from which starts the stream of worldly existence, yad bhava pravaha. Bhishma is describing Krishna, the Paramatma, in his vision of the Supreme Personality. He discloses that the Supreme Being created this world with his Maya power. Now the second verse. Tribhuvanakamanam tamalavarnam ravikaragauravarambaram dadhane vapuralakakulavritananabjam vijaya sakheratirastu me navadhya. May my devotion, Ratihi, to Krishna, the friend of Arjuna, Vijaya Sakha, be pure, Anavadhya astu, that is, without any desire of expectation in return. He has assumed a body most enchanting in the three worlds, Tribhuvana Kamanam Vapuhu, with bluish complexion, as the Tamala tree, Tamala Varnam, wearing Dadhana, glittering garment golden yellow, like the rays of the sun, Ravikara Gaura Varambaram, and lotus-like face, Anana Abjam, covered with pendant locks of hair, Alaka Kulavrita. Bhishma could witness the physical form of his venerable deity, as he had his eyes unclosed, even while concentrating on his supreme divinity, before that moment of shedding his mortal being. Now the next verse, that is the third one. Yuditiragarato vidhumbra vishvak kachalulita shramavaryalankritasye mama nishita sharair vidyamana tvachi vilasat kavachestu Krishna Atma. May my mind be concentrated in Krishna, Mama Atma Krishne Astu, whose face, Asya, was decorated with drops of perspiration, Shramavari Alankrita, the perspiration scattered, Lulita, by his hair flowing in all directions, Vishwak Kacha, the hair appearing grey, Vidhumbra, with dust, Rajaha, the dust kicked up by the hoofs of horses in the battle, Yudhi Turaga, and with his protective armor glittering, Vilasat Kavacha, with the force of my sharp-edged arrow piercing his skin, Nishita Sharaihi Vibidhyamana Tvachi. Bhishma is recounting an apparent encounter with Krishna in the battlefield. Krishna had vowed not to hold a weapon at the war and not to fight, but he would just be the charioteer for Arjuna. Whereas Bhishma had vowed that he would ensure Krishna comes to fight him face to face. Krishna had taken on himself many arrows directed towards Arjuna, in order that one of his most favorite devotees, that is Bhishma, should not fail in his vow. Krishna directed a situation amidst the war with Arjuna at the back, and Krishna is compelled to pick up a wheel of the chariot as a weapon. Though it is only a wheel and not a war weapon such as a bow or arrow, sword, etc., but the wheel, that is chakra, turns into his Sudarshana disc. Arjuna, of course, intervenes instantly and appeals to Krishna to hold it back. Bhishma feels humbled and perceives Krishna's transcendental power. He immediately surrenders to Krishna and was then ready to receive the arrows. The description of Krishna given in this verse is as Bhishma had witnessed Krishna in this encounter. Bhishma's overwhelming expression of gratitude to Krishna is evident here. Needless to recall here, countless are the arrows shot by us by way of our omissions and commissions, by our non-adherence to his laws, that is dharma, and these being quietly absorbed by Krishna by his magnanimous heart, he has in turn graced us with forgiveness. Let us continue with Bhishma Stuti in our next session. धन्यवादः.